सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयम् देवम् सद्गुरुम् ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। You have seen 7 chapters of Bhagavat Gita, and now we are going to see the 8th chapter. And before we begin, we will try to take a quick look at what we have seen so far and what Bhagavan has said so far. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita described the situation that Arjuna was in and his state of mind, his condition, what he was going through, and in one word, if we want to describe that, it is the psychological breakdown, which is what he experienced. And Bhagavan did not respond to any of his intellectual justifications, which he, Arjuna, tried to use to validate his breakdown. Until Arjuna himself felt that I need help. So in our life, we all come across such situations. As long as we feel that I can come out from this by myself, it's good, we can try. When we find out that I am not capable, we should seek an external help. For physical imbalance, there are many external helps. For this psychological turmoil within, the most powerful and the ultimate solution is Vedanta. And seeing the right need and opportunity, Bhagavan, when Arjuna asked for help as a disciple, started giving him the teaching of Vedanta, the essence of Upanishads. And that was the second chapter, where he began with Jnana Yoga, otherwise known as Sankhya Yoga, from stanza 11 up to 38. And then he said, to understand what I have said, you need pure mind. Then only you or anyone, Arjuna, will be able to relate to this teaching, connect to this teaching, abide in this teaching. And that is where came Karma Yoga. And this Karma Yoga topic was concluded along with the result of that in stanza number 51. Chapter. Stanza number 52 and 53, Bhagavan talked about the culmination of each of these stages. What would mark the end of Karma Yoga and what would mark the end of Jnana Yoga. And therefore, we would be able to clearly know whether I am ready for Jnana Yoga full time or not. And then from stanza 54 until 72 was the description. Sthita Prajna, an individual who is able to absorb this teaching, abide in this teaching, and enjoy the benefit of this teaching. Because ultimately that is what we want. We don't want to know all stanzas of Bhagavad Gita, or we don't want to claim that I know entire Bhagavad Gita. What we want finally is the joy that comes out of this learning, this knowledge, this wisdom. That freedom, that is what we want to claim. And so that was described at the end of second chapter. Then Bhagavan elaborated piece of Karma Yoga, finer steps, importance, obstacles in Karma Yoga. That was chapter 3. And chapter 4 began with the parampara, the tradition of teaching. And therefore, the individual would not only respect the teaching, but also the tradition. And the individual must also recognize that this teaching is eternal teaching. It is not something brand new or latest. It is actually ancient. And then Bhagavan revealed his identity as Ishvara. And that Ishvara in absolute nature is that supreme consciousness, Brahman, which is the goal of all the Shastras. And then various yajna practices were described. Bhagavan also glorified the highest form of yajna as Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi. Everything is Brahman. And then he praised the path of knowledge at the end of 4th chapter, that there is nothing as good, as purifying as knowledge. 5th chapter came in to highlight two kinds of sannyasas in the form of karma sannyasa. One was the renunciation of action in order to gain knowledge and learn the teaching. And second kind of renunciation, which is in the form of the freedom from the doership, the enjoyership, which is nothing but knowing that I am Brahma and therefore I am eternally renunciate with respect to the whole world of plurality. And that was elaborated where Bhagavan said that this individual Pashyan, Shurunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, while doing all the activities, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, he knows I am not doing anything. This was the highest form of sannyasa. And at the end of fifth, Bhagavan indicated in brief the practice of meditation. Sparshanka, Bahirbahyan, etc. Sixth chapter came as elaboration of this meditation practice, Dhyana Yoga, which is more of the internal practice. When an individual does lot of things outside, they are very visible. We say, oh, he's doing lot of activity, lot of seva, lot of puja, lot of chanting. Or go lot of temples, does this, that, etc. When somebody is constantly attention to Atma, nobody would know who is doing what. It is internal practice, antaranga sadhana. Meditation or anam is internal practice. To help facilitate that, one may sit down in a particular posture, on a particular kind of atmosphere, in a particular kind of atmosphere, on particular asana, etc. But it is only for some time. Meditation otherwise would have to be ongoing practice. So that was highlighted in sixth chapter. And we saw all different aspects. What is meditation? Who is a meditator? What are the external adjustments? What are the when one should do it? How one should do it? What are the obstacles? How to overcome them? What is the result of this meditation? Its culmination, and what is the vision of this individual when he lives in the world outside. And then at the end of sixth chapter, there were two important questions. One question was, "O Bhagavan, this meditation is very difficult. You have given very wonderful analysis, and I appreciate that, but I can never sit down and do any real meditation." So Bhagavan answered that question. And the second question was, while an individual has taken up this practice and is trying to pursue his or her goal, let us say this individual is not able to attain his goal and has to give up that body in which the sadhanas were being performed. What would happen to him? So Bhagavan said, don't worry, he will get full credit for everything that he has done in the next life. And Bhagavan elaborated that answer also. So up to 6th chapter, Bhagavan described everything about the individual, the jiva. From 7th chapter, he started talking about himself. He said, enough of you. Now you listen, who am I? Ishvara. And to indicate the nature of Ishvara, the word Jagat was used. So God being the Jagat Karana, the cause of this creation. And therefore, the two Prakritis, Apara and Para Prakriti, they were highlighted. And Bhagavan said, they both belong to me. And then he said, there are many individuals who are striving to learn this knowledge, but because of Maya, everyone is not able to reach their goal. This Trigunatmika Maya is very fascinating. So it creates obstacles, but those who surrender to me, they attain me. Mam eva ye prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. And then Bhagavan described the 4 types of devotees, and he said, Jnani is the best devotee. He is me, myself. Jnani is my Atma. And then the understanding of Jnani is Vasudeva Sarvam. All this is nothing but that Vasudeva, that Brahman. And that Brahman is my true nature also. So in this way, Jnanam and Vijnanam both were indicated. And then Bhagavan concluded 7th chapter by throwing some new terms. And those were the last 2 stanzas of 7th chapter. And when these terms came, so obviously we also felt like, oh, there are a lot of things that we don't know yet. And I'm sure Arjuna also felt like that. And therefore, 8th chapter begins with Arjuna's question regarding those terms. So we are going to now begin the 8th chapter. अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथम् ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथम् ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. So these terms are lifted from the 7th chapter, the last 2 stanzas. Bhagavan had said जरा मरण मोक्षाय माम आश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मम् कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूतादिदैवम् माम साधियज्ञम् च ये विदुः प्रयाण कालेपि च माम ते विदुर्युक्त चेतसः. So Bhagavan had said, those individuals who strive sincerely to become free from this cycle of birth, old age, disease, death, and their striving is keeping me in mind, having God as the means to attain this freedom, then they know what is Brahma, what is Adhyatma, what is Karma, what is Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna, and at the time of departure they know me. So now all these terms that Bhagavan had used, Arjuna brings them back. Arjuna says, Bhagavan, please answer the following questions. And he gives a question paper to Bhagavan. And he says, all are compulsory. So there is no elective here. Question 1. Kim tad Brahma? O Purushottama. He addresses Bhagavan as Purushottama. O, literal translation would be best among men. But Purushottama is a specific word. Purushottama refers to Lord of the universe. The Supreme Being is called Purushottama. So, O Purushottama, which Bhagavan himself is going to highlight in 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga. Tad Brahma Kim? What is that Brahman? So this shows Arjuna didn't know what is Brahman. Why? Because he asked, what is that Brahman? It is still paroksha for him. Something. So whenever we put this question, that Brahman, that I know, which means we don't know. Tad Brahma Kim? This was first question. Second question, Adhyatmam Kim? What is Adhyatmam? So we are not going to do analysis in the question. We will analyze them in the answer. Adhyatmam Kim? Question 3. Karma Kim? What is karma? And see these words, in English translation of Adhyatmam, what is spirituality, or I don't know, some new word will come out. So best is we should keep them as they are. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is karma? It is not asked what is action. Adhibhutam chakim proktam. What is said as Adhibhuta? Means what is Adhibhuta? Adhidaivam kim uchyate? What is Adhidaiva? How many questions are done? 5. Now 6th one. Atra asmin dehe. In this body, so this Arjuna knows that the 6th question has the locus as this body. Locus means where it is located. Asmin dehe, O Madhusudana, O Bhagavan, destroyer of Madhu Daitya. Asmin dehe adhiyajnaha kaha katham. 2 sub-questions are there. 6th question has 2 questions. Who is Adhiyajna and how he is in this body? What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adhibhuta? What is Adhidaiva? who is Adhiyajna in this body and how he is residing in this body. 6 questions. 7th one. Niyata atmabhihi prayana kalecha katham jneha asi. Niyat atmabhihi, by those individuals who have controlled their personality. Niyata atmabhihi. Atma here means antakarana. Those who have controlled their personality, those who have won over their lower personality, by them, niyata atmabhihi, prayana kale, at the time of departure, katham jneha asi. Jneha means known, asi means you. Asi always refers to second person addressed. So, how are you known for the people who are of controlled mind at their time of departure? That means Arjuna knows that at the time of departure, we have to know Bhagavan, and he is standing right in front. That is why he addressed Purushottama. But he also says this knowing is possible only by Niyata Atma, an individual who has controlled his lower personality. And Jneha means known. Known means remembered. How one can remember you at the time of death? This is very simple translation of this 7th question. And generally when we read these 7 questions, we say, I know which is most important question. Question 7 has 80 points. And 1 to 6, all 2 points you can give. And whatever is remaining to make it 100 is for keeping the answer sheet clean. Now somebody would say, 7th question I can relate, at the time of death, how we can remember God. Why? Because in scriptures it is said that whatever that we remember at the time of death, that is what we attain. And that Bhagavan himself is also going to talk about. So that question is relevant question. But all these other terms, whether I know them or don't know them, how does it matter?